Welcome back, Halo followers. So today, a trusted source, Bathrobe Spartan, talks about how Halo Infinite's problems might not actually be Slipspace, but rather 343's lack of manpower. Even though this series of tweets, which is translated from French, kind of explains that Faber, the level designer and pretty much the thing that drives Slipspace, right, that makes the levels and artists can use to create some pretty impressive stuff that, Forge is kind of derived from. So, Bathrobe Spartan conducted an investigation of Slipspace, the reality of the tool, and its impact on the engine. So, he breaks down that there are two kinds of sources they have here, which is external and internal. Remember, this is someone that has actually given some pretty solid evidence in the past of things that has turned out to be true. They say our external sources wish to remain anonymous, and given the responsibilities we understand, the deal is simple. We do our research, and they confirm, or deny our findings. And they say to YouTubers that we have a trust of the community and therefore great responsibility. And as I always say, take this stuff with a grain of salt. They also have a terrain editor that is pretty amazing just from the looks of it. Very good tools for building the world and experience to manage the placement of elements. AIs and other actions are predefined by designers responsible for missions and sections of the campaign. Faber seems to have its fair share of problems as well. It crashes several times a day. Very powerful for elaborate uses, but may require cross-beam solutions for simple things, and undoing an action had a 75% chance of crashing the project. And it gets worse. They say in case of a crash, loading assets could take hours. Some at 343 were going to take their lunch break while everyone was loading, and artists could sometimes lose hours of work if they weren't careful about undoing action. Lived experience. Now, what I gotta say about that is that some of those things I was told over a year ago before Halo Infinite released that those were actual issues that they were having, as well as if you were to script anything new or code anything new in Slipspace, it could break the entire experience, break the entire engine, and crash the game. That means that people that actually created this engine, contractors that are now long gone, there was no one there to troubleshoot or fix the engine because the people that made the engine are gone. They contracted people that made this horribly technical debt engine. And plus, there is direct evidence, even from 343 last year, they said that they could not add Team Slayer at the moment because of UI limitations. All right, UI limitations. That said, these issues were true during the development of Halo Infinite only. Since then, 343 Industries has worked a lot on it. Although some of these issues persist, our sources describe Faber as today much more stable and faster. The problem actually comes from the manpower still available to create content on Halo Infinite. Between departures and a Microsoft-wide hiring freeze, 343 has struggled to keep pace with the demands and needs that a game-as-a-service game requires. So yes, this hiring freeze that they're talking about here is public information. We know that as well people have been leaving, just even namely Bonnie Ross and many other individuals that are working on the bottom level of the studio, like, game designers and leads of sorts have been leaving this year, but there's no new people coming in. Even though 343 Industries has probably a lot of applicants, they can't hire anyone because Microsoft is scared of inflation, I think. And they say it's not simply necessary to understand the production of 3D elements, but also the programming required for them, storing the data, monitoring the actions, and statistics of players requiring engineers in addition to the artists available. Basically, understand that just because you see a working DMR and a leak doesn't mean it would work properly online. Weapon kills need to be tracked, logged, etc., and that requires missing manpower. Quite frankly, this reads to me that the engine is not top of its class, that if you need to script every single weapon beyond its ability to just function in the game, and you need to script how the weapon is tracked and logged, I don't understand why this wasn't for a game as a service implemented into an engine, but Whatever, I digress. Moving on, the team has had to receive help from studios to produce elements. Unfortunately, external events prevented this. 343 has tried to optimize their resources as best as possible to move forward on the right path, but we'll come back to this subject later. So, are Slipspace and Faber the hell that rumors have been selling you lately? According to our sources, absolutely not. Quite the contrary. Like any tool, problems persist, of course, but worries about 343 pacing lies elsewhere. I think this rumor in particular frustrates me, partially because I don't really believe that it's true. I don't think Slipspace and Faber are working anything better than a horrible piece of software, because I think that 343 cut corners and now have a very technical, held down, technical debted engine. And to say that 343's issues is the lack of manpower, I just don't buy it. Because why is it that every other studio, despite their releases, despite their content, despite having half the time, 1/3, 1/4 the amount of time, can punch out 3, 4, 5 times the amount of content faster this year, despite the way that the economy is? So we do know that Certain Affinity has been entrusted with evolving the future of Halo Infinite back in February, and according to many rumors, that has actually going to be the Battle Royale and Tatanka that we have seen actual direct evidence from in the game coding itself and screenshots of from trusted sources. So obviously something is deep in development. However, it seems that according to Jez Corden, which recently announced that he regrets talking about Halo going to Unreal Engine because he doesn't have direct evidence about that, and that it seems like, honestly, dude, the guy was just kind of getting backed into a corner. People were mad at him because he was saying that no, Halo won't be going to Unreal Engine, and then now he's entertained Sean. But I don't know. What I've heard myself is that Halo is going to Unreal Engine. This is sources from myself, and I heard about this many months ago. But what seems to be going on, especially since Max Hoberman at Certain Affinity just said this the other day, that they have been working on something with Halo Infinite for the past 2 years. That's all they can say about it. It's pretty obvious that it's going to be the big central mode of the game, and it's going to be on Slipspace engine, right? Them going to Unreal Engine is perhaps unrealistic. It's a massive waste of many, many millions of dollars. So it would make sense that if Slipspace has actually improved from the development of Halo Infinite's campaign, then, well, why not just use it, right? I mean, all the weapons assets and the kind of, it took years to just get Slipspace working the way it has. So why ditch the engine? The painful truth is that we probably won't ever know what really went on during Halo Infinite's development, or if we do, it'll be about 3 years after launch when the game has fallen from any relevancy. And we saw that already with Halo MCC, so I think we'll learn what happened here in 2025 and get some inside scoops once these issues no longer exist. They'll feel comfortable talking about them again. But at this point, I feel like I am getting gaslit over and over and over. And I gotta imagine some of y'all feel that way too, because we are being told that everything is fine. It's actually C19. Everything's fine with the engine. It's actually this. Actually, nothing is good with the engine. And we're being told different things from the developers inside and out. And I know for a fact that there's got to be some gaslighting going on, that someone is not being completely honest here or there, and I just am very frustrated by it. With that being said, there are critical issues with the network code, and I'm sure many other things from what I've heard in the background, especially with the campaign and how that works. It's obvious that Faber is really powerful, and it's done some really great things. Like, it looks, from what we've seen, it looks like just as powerful, if not more powerful, than Unreal Engine in some ways. But Unreal Engine is sturdy, and it's been built from the ground up since, I think, 1998. I mean, this is a really powerful engine, and many great games do run on it. And so I think perhaps what the case here is that Certain Affinity and 343 are going to move ahead on Halo Infinite solely on the Slipspace engine. However, Halo the Endless, aka Halo 7, is going to be, as it is right now probably, developed on Unreal Engine 5. So anyways, guys, that's just the latest about all these rumors and leaks. Let me know what you think about this. I am looking forward to cover Bathrobe's next thread where he talks about Slipspace and Halo and whether it's going to be licensable. So obviously we have no direct and concrete evidence. So, at the end of the day, you got to take this with a grain of salt. But yeah, this is obviously something is going on behind the scenes, and just because a rumor might end up even being true doesn't mean that it's going to be the actual thing that ends up being the case, right? Because things change in development like crazy every day. Things are developing behind the scenes, and we might be getting rumors that might be true but are very out of date. But anyways, guys, I am looking forward to the future of Halo in some regard. I know Halo Infinite's looking real bad right now, but regardless, I think that if this is true, Slipspace is shaping up. I still do have questions. It still doesn't really make sense that there's absolutely nothing coming out from 343. I mean, how hard is it to really make a new map? Because so far this whole year they've only made 2 dev maps in Faber, and if it's really working as good as they say now, it's not crashing anymore, it's not giving the developers and artists a hard time anymore, how many people does it actually take to make a map? I know that there's a certain style to Halo maps and like how the map control works and layout, but like, does it really take a year to make 2 maps? That just seems absurd to me. Are they really, I mean, is it really just, how many people do they have there, Because last time I heard there was like 700 people, and we only know that like 10 of them quit in the past year. So I don't know what's going on. You guys let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one soon. Peace.